Hello, YouTube. This is Johnston Blackhorse. Just wanted to make a quick update video because I haven't uploaded anything in a freaking long while. Um, I've just been pretty busy, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. But the reason I haven't been doing uploads lately is because, just like I said, I've been busy. It's just a lot of crap going on with probation and family and just trying to keep up with this, that, and the other. Mostly, what I've been doing is like keeping up with, well, not keeping up with much, but doing a bunch of commissions. And I'm open for commissions if, like, anyone's aware. But I've been doing like a lot of commission work for select few dedicated clients, and they've just been keeping me really busy, keeping me fed. And other than that, I oh shoot, my freaking tablet blinked out. You can't see it on the display. Okay, yeah, my tablet blinks out every now and then. So I gotta wiggle the connections and get it to come back on. But anyway, other than the commissions, I've been painting pottery. If you follow my Twitter, there are examples of the Native American pottery that I'll paint. So that's been taking a lot of time because since I'm fairly new at it, it it takes me a long while. And my mom, she's the one that painted pottery all throughout my childhood, and she's been teaching me how to paint the pots like she used to. And I tend to catch on pretty quickly. Like some of the harder things that she says takes a while for people to learn, I was able to catch on in like a matter of days and improve within a matter of weeks. And some of the hardest, more difficult parts about painting pottery is just the fine detail work, and that took me a while to catch on to, like maybe a few months. But problem with that is that I can only practice painting pottery when there are pots to paint, because all of last year, 2020, there was little to no tourism. So the tourism market was pretty much non-existent. My tablet keeps blinking out. So there was no pottery to paint because there were no tourists there to buy them up. But thankfully this year, restrictions are lightening up as the pandemic seems to be going down. So I've had more opportunity to paint more pottery this year. And a cool thing that I've been able to do is I've been able to incorporate airbrushing techniques into some of the pottery that I paint. And from what I'm told, the guy who sells the pottery says that they sold pretty well. And the guy who sells the pottery is the same guy who provides the blank pottery for me to paint. It's what he does is casts them, he bakes them, and then he gives me the pots, and then I paint them up, hand them back, and then he goes around and sells them to his clients, which are like arts and crafts dealers or trading posts. So I've been spending like a lot of time on that. Like I recently did like a batch of about 240 pots, I believe. Like, hold on, I got it written down. Oh, I only got the price totaled up. I didn't count all the pots. I didn't total all the pots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 20, 10, that's 100, 118, 123, 125, 130, like 134 pieces of pottery that I painted, but it took me about two solid weeks to paint 100 and whatever number I said, 134, I believe it was, that I just quoted right there. But yeah, and that is nowhere near the speed that my mom used to paint at. I mean, she would, when I was young, she would be able to like paint like maybe like a truckload. And when I say truckload, I mean like the flatbed. Like the flatbed would be like filled with like boxes of pottery. And she'd be able to paint all of that within a matter of days, maybe like a matter of days to maybe possibly a week. And like watching her paint when I was a kid, like she would just paint so fast, like incredibly fast, like just painting all the gradients, the designs, and the really intricate, detailed scenery. And I've yet to reach that quality and speed. Like I'm beginning to reach the quality at which she used to paint at, but now I just got to work on my speed. Gotta get lightning fast. Paint pottery in the blink of an eye. But yeah, like 2 weeks to paint like a little over 100 pots. That's just no good. And all 2 weeks of work painting pottery netted me about $200 in payment. And it was a really big hit, you know, like when I'm doing commissions, like I can finish a commission within a matter of days, depending on the detail. But once it's done, that's like maybe $100 or so in my bank account. So $100 or so for like a few days of work, compared to 2 weeks of solid like painting, like all day and into the night, a lot of the time, for just $200. It's like, oh man, I gotta get faster at this. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice, and I am getting faster, and speed and quality work will come in time. I just need more pottery to paint. So that was about maybe 2 weeks ago. I handed that shipment of pottery off, and I'm just waiting for the next batch to come in. But altogether, not too sure how quickly that might be, because, like I said, tourism didn't exist last year, and this year it seems to be starting up, but probably not in the amounts that it had been in like previous years before the pandemic. So it's good that it's kicking back up and work is starting to trickle in as far as pottery goes. But I just got to get faster, and the reason I'm doing that is just like the probation and the courts want to see me reform my art, and I'm doing what I can with like all this traditional work, but not many people are paying for my traditional work. I just have a few dedicated clients who have me draw their characters and funny scenarios, but nothing sexually explicit. Like if you look at my Twitter, like you'll see what I'm talking about. there are like a few characters like thought up by someone who wanted to see them come to life, and then there are like funny scenarios. Like there was a piece I did recently. It was Zootopia crossed with Resident Evil. So you have Judy Hopps dressed up as Jill Valentine, and Nick Wilde shambling down a hallway toward Judy as a zombie. So I've just been like really busy with that, but other than work on the home front, like things have been pretty stressful. I'm not sure if like all of you are aware, but my mom has been dealing with like her surgery recovery. And just to have like a quick rundown, over 2 years ago, my mom had spinal surgery where she had her lower vertebra in her spine fused because her spine was just starting to deteriorate. Like there was like little to no cartilage left in her lower spine. So to combat that, the surgeons went in and fused her lower vertebra in her spinal column. And that comes with just having a rare condition. Like the doctors used to think it was Navajo neuropathy, and that's something that arises from the radiation sickness that a lot of Navajos had gotten from working on the uranium mines back all those years ago. And my mom was one of the unfortunate many who had been born and raised on a uranium camp. And because of that, she was born with little to no pain receptors in her lower legs and, well, her lower extremities. So she has like little to no pain sensation in her legs. And also, like, she's got a condition to where her like bones and joints either deteriorate or are pretty fragile. So all her life she had to like grow up as a very sheltered youth because her parents were afraid that she would hurt herself fairly easily, and she did. Like the way they found out about her condition is that she was complaining about she wasn't complaining, she was walking on her feet oddly, so they took her in to get examined, and x-rays showed that she had broken her ankle. And it came as a surprise to her parents because like my mom didn't show any signs of discomfort or couldn't tell them like when she might have broken her ankle, but it was broken, and from the x-rays the doctors had determined that it had been broken for a while and it was already starting to set in a weird angle. So that's how they found out about her condition. And in her later years, like now, her joints are really starting to dissolve and deteriorate, and as of right now, her spinal surgery like has just complicated things a bit because she can't really feel due to her nerves, her pain receptors not really being there. Hold on, the dogs are barking like crazy. Ugh. What are they barking at? Hush! Oh, freaking horses. They're barking at some horses. But anyway, as I was saying, her condition has complicated her recovery lately. And because she can't really feel pain in her legs and all the painkillers that she's on from the spine surgery, She wasn't able to detect an infection she had, and when she went into the clinic for the infection, they had also discovered that she had abscesses in her legs. So what the clinic was able to do was that they were able to drain some of these abscesses, and uh, unfortunately, I guess they had been there for so long, like they didn't even have to lance the first abscess; it just popped on its own. So they drained that one, and they drained a couple of more, but then there were some abscesses that came up on the scan that were too deep into her muscle tissue, which required more in-depth medical care than the clinic could provide. So they transferred her to a hospital, which had to transfer her to another hospital in the next state because they didn't have the general surgeon available. So she went to the hospital that she's at now, where she had the surgery done to remove all the abscesses from her legs. And when they got in there, they had discovered that there were like more abscesses than the initial scans had detected. And it was just one surgery, and then when she didn't seem to be, I guess, taking that surgery very well, they went back in and discovered more abscesses. So they had to open her back up and clean those ones out. But now it seems that they were able to get all of them. And I guess it was really bad, my mom is a really tough individual. Her tolerance for pain is, at this point, I'd have to say it was immeasurable. Like, yeah, she did seem like she was in discomfort, and she did complain here and there, but she gritted through it. She didn't want to go to the clinic, but it took a lot of convincing from my sister to get her to go. And she was willing to write it out, but finally she got talked into it. And I had no idea what was going on, because I guess it's my sister. My sister helps her in the shower, and she was able to see like these red marks on her leg. And my mom did say yeah, they hurt her a bit, and my sister wanted her to check it out, but my mom just wanted to write it out and just have it heal on its own. But I guess the red marks she was seeing were the abscesses, and I guess by the time she got to the clinic, they were so bad. Some of the abscesses that were deep within her leg had already ruptured and were leaking into her bloodstream. So when they ran some tests on her blood, her blood toxicity was at the point where if it had gone on any longer, it would have started damaging her organs, and her body would have started shutting down if she had waited. But I guess everything was caught just in time, and especially for my mom, because her system was in such a state where she started to, I guess, black out. And that's what sucks about her condition. Her inability to feel pain and the intensity of pain. She's susceptible to succumbing to serious injury, not knowing how serious it is. And that's one of the things that's really scary. I mean, imagine it, like you have some internal damage, but you can't really tell it's there. Yeah, you might feel a little discomfort, but your inability to feel pain is just hindering your sense of urgency to get checked out, and for all you know, like you might be hemorrhaging blood internally, but all you feel is a slight discomfort, and then eventually, like in a bid to just wait it out, you succumb to your internal injuries and die, and that's what almost happened to my mom, and it just really kind of freaks me out, and because if if she had just decided to just hold it off and wait for another weekend, I mean, when they drove her into the hospital on the hospital that she's at now, that's when she started to black out, and she says she does not remember a lot of events from that night. So if she decided to hold it off for another weekend, like chances are she could have just fallen asleep on a Saturday and Sunday and just not woken up again, and that's what's kind of scary. I mean, none of us knew how bad it was, and my sister was the only one who had like a inkling of an idea because she helps my mom in the shower by like washing her hair or her back, and she's the only one that saw like this these marks on her leg, and she was the only one who like really pressed to get my mom to go to the clinic, because my mom was just like playing it down, and if there any of the rest of us heard about it, she would have just brushed it off as like nothing too big to worry about. But unfortunately it was. So that's where she is right now, and that's what we've been dealing with over here, and it's just kind of sad and just kind of scary that this is just something that she has to live with. And all her life, all she wanted to be was normal, but it's just having to be born and raised on a uranium camp and with little to no protection, thanks to the government. Thanks a lot, government. Well, it seems like every aspect of my life at this point is in some way being like affected by the government's decisions, and it's been really hard. Like I've been spreading myself thin and in a bid to just like make everybody happy, like trying to make the courts happy by trying to reinvent my art into something that I've never like ventured into before, trying to make my family happy by like sticking with my mom and just trying to be there as often as I can to just help her out, because when my dad's at work and it's just me, my mom, and my siblings, like I'm the only one, like my other brother, like he's got a job now, so he goes to work too. So when it's just me, my mom, and my other siblings, I'm the only one of the three of us that has the strength to pick her back up if she falls. So I'm usually just at my mom's side at all time, and I take her to and from like a lot of her appointments because I'm able to just scoop her up from the wheelchair and place her in the pickup truck, and it's a pretty tall pickup truck. Like she used to be able to climb into it herself, just with proper like leverage and positioning. She could pull herself up pretty easily, but lately it had gotten to the point where I had to physically just pick her up from the wheelchair and place her into the seat, and getting her out like is just pretty much the same thing. Just scoop her up from the seat and then place her in the wheelchair. So just a lot of that, just being there for my mom, and then trying to help my family out with odds and ends by earning money through the the commissions I'm allowed to do, as well as the pottery to try to supplement my income. But it's not much of a supplement if I'm wasting a lot of time just still in the learning process. But I am getting faster, but it's still like a long process, and it's one of those things where like I'm always struggling for money. Right now, I don't know if there's any much more I can do with this little cartoony portrait. This what I'm drawing right now, this isn't of anyone in particular or any character in particular. I just wanted to draw something to take up like space as I talk about everything that's going on right now. So I guess I'll just shade it. Yeah, I'm just spreading myself thin, just to meet all these odds and ends and making sure everyone's happy, and while at the same time like forgetting about my my happiness. And it's tough, like the only person like I really talk to a lot and associate with is my good lady friend in the UK. Like I consider her my girlfriend, but she considers me like the most awesome like bud. Like some people would say like, "Oh, dude, you got put in the friend zone," but it's not that bad. Like we enjoy each other's company and we think of each other fondly, and eventually we'd like to move in together, and if that's the friend zone, like I'd have to think, that's the best, super best friend zone. But yeah, like she's been helping me out with just having to deal with a lot of this by just being there as someone who will listen to all of my struggles and just be that shoulder to prop myself up on when I'm just feeling too weak to hold my head up. So she provides a shoulder to just rest my head on and keep me going. And she's like one of my dedicated clients. She's like a super client who became like a awesome friend and fellow compatriot, and she's been supporting me through thick and thin for years now. But yeah, like as far as associating with other people, like I don't mingle with people here on the reservation, like for about a small number of reasons. Like one is that I really don't relate to a lot of people out here. I guess I've gotten so used to like the city life and like the way I guess the way I talk and the way I present myself is just a juxtaposition to how people act out here. They're all hey, they're all resi, right? But yeah, there's that reason. Another reason is that a lot of the people out here my age tend to drink, and that's something that I'd like to steer away from, especially on probation. So I don't need any of that influence in my life right now, because the reentry program I'm on, is one of their stipulations is to have no drinking lifestyle. Like, okay, shoot. Well, that's kind of easy for me because my family doesn't drink. My family isn't have never been into heavy drinking or drink at all these days. So, whoops, shake. And another reason I don't associate with people out here is because I just don't have the freaking time to make friends out here. It's like the only friends I have are the friend I mentioned, my lady friend in the UK, and the associations I've made through Discord. And a lot of them started out as like dedicated fans and supporters, but a lot of them have become like really good buddies. You know, they can relate to me on a lot of things, and just they're there for morale support whenever I have like whenever I have sad news. Yeah, they're a tight group of fellows. I appreciate them. So yeah, it's been a difficult couple of years being in this reentry program on the res, and just trying to be here for family, as well as just trying to adhere to like all the stipulations of this the probation program that they have out here. And it's a 1-year program, and we're coming up on 2 years. But I think a lot of my progress had been stunted due to the pandemic last year. So like didn't even have like court update sessions for man, a long time. It's like I think with almost the whole year, in fact. But yeah, I got a court session coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll see where we go from there. And I'm hoping my stimulus money comes in pretty soon. That'll help out with a lot of my I still have debts that I'm trying to pay down from like Vegas, and hopefully like this stimulus that I'm about to get will come through, because I finally filed my taxes this year. It's like I tried to file like for the previous year, because I did make a little bit of money, but then like the tax people were like, you might as well not file this at all because you didn't make enough money. Like, oh, shoot. I thought I made a lot. And then they told me like, well, you didn't make much money this year either. So, or like last year either. So, but we're going to go ahead and file it so you can get that stimulus. I'm like, oh, cool, right on. So we filed my taxes for like last year, and I ended up owing like about $100 or so, I paid that, and I should be getting stimulus in the next 3 to 4 weeks or so. Like, I guess it varies from person to person. Some people get it a lot sooner. Some people get it like well after the 3 to 4 week estimated time. But yeah, like I'm hoping this year will be the year. Like everything turns around. But to further like elaborate on my mom's situation, she's feeling a lot better now, for those of you who are wondering. Like, I know I just kind of like left it off and moved on to the next point, but yeah, she's feeling a lot better. Like, she's getting more mobility in her legs, which is like awesome to hear. So hopefully in time she won't need the wheelchair anymore. she'll be able to do things on her own again, with a little bit of help, of course. But she is such a strong-willed, stubborn woman, and I guess that's where I get a lot of my spirit from, because she's fiercely like independent and just wanting to do a lot of things on her own, and also like just the motherly dedication to do stuff for her family. Like cook, clean, do laundry, all that stuff. She wants to be able to do all that again. But yeah, she's in recovery, and the hospital's going to go ahead and just keep her in their like on-site hospice care until she's well on her road to recovery. And in the meantime, what me and my family are going to do, we're going to try to do what we can to just pool up enough money to get her an adjustable bed, because I think that's the key, the integral key factor in her recovery. Because like here at home, like she does not have a proper place to sleep. Like she can't sleep in a regular bed because she can't stand to like lie flat on her back for any given amount of time because of the swelling and tissue damage she's trying to recover from. So she's supposed to sleep in a recliner for the time being, but the recliner that we have for her is just so old, shitty, and falling apart that at all times she's just having to sit at like a 45-degree angle. Like it might not like even be considered a recliner at this point, because it hardly reclines that far back. It does prop her legs up, so she keeps her legs elevated as best she can. But when I see her sleeping in the night, just propped up in that 45-degree angle, like she's slumped over to one side or the other side, like on either arm of the chair. And we can like pull the recliner back to just have it lie a little flatter sometimes, but it just won't stay in that position because it's just so old and falling apart. And we'd like to get her a new recliner, but like I think it might be best to just go for one of those adjustable sleep number beds. So that's what me and my family are going to attempt to do. Just try to get her one of those in preparation for her return. Because since she's always sitting or lying at a 45-degree angle when she's trying to rest, that's just like putting a continuous amount of pressure on her lower back, when in actuality we're supposed to like relieve that pressure so it can give time for that area of her surgery to just recuperate. And throughout this whole time she just hasn't been able to do that because of all the shitty furniture that we have here. And just money has been so tight, and things are just so slow and going. And I swear that if I were allowed to draw the stuff for money I was drawing before, I would have made the money needed to get her a new recliner or a new bed within just a matter of weeks. But there's just really not much I can do because my hands are tied. And I can only make as much money as like people are willing to pay me for like whatever commissions I'm able to generate. And it really sucks because I know I can make money like just like crazy, especially now that I'm living on the reservation without any rent or the same monthly expenditures I had back in Vegas. Like I could rack up the money I need to buy my mom a new bed in just a few, like in just a week or two, and then get her like a a new recliner in like the following weeks to come, but instead I'm relegated to doing like just generally rated safe for work art I have little to no passion for, and no one else is really willing to purchase off of me. So I'm just more or less stuck between a rock and a hard place. And I just wish I could do more to help my mom, but I'm just not allowed. And it fucking sucks. And no matter what I try to say to the courts, they're just going to see it their way. Like, oh, well, your art is a threat to society, and we can't have you threatening to society, even if it is for the sake of helping your mom recover. We're just not going to allow you to do it. So your mom's shit out of luck, and so are you. So just draw what we tell you to draw, make us happy, and just let your mom suffer for a little while longer. Is that okay? Yeah, I guess. Like, frickin' what can I do about it? But yeah. Bitter much? Yes. I mean, like, it really sucks too, like, especially going through, like, sex offender treatment and hearing about all the awful shit, like, some of these other people, like, just get away with. Like, with just a slap on the wrist. Like the hands-on molestations, the rapes, the dangerous, like, thought processes, like, some of these individuals go through, but they get, like, maybe a few months probation with, like, a minimal sex offender treatment, and then they're just, like, out the door and probably, like, reoffending all over again. But here I am, fucking stuck like Chuck. But really not much I can do about it, unless the laws change and, like, see, like, oh, hey, like, maybe we should start reversing the roles of how we charge hands-on sex offenders versus non-hands-on sex offenders. Like, we're giving, like, these guys who've never touched or raped anybody, like, decades of prison and probation, whereas these actual rapists and molesters were just, like, letting off with a slap on a wrist and a few tisks. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Don't do it again. Oh. Yeah. I could probably go on all day of, like, thinking of how fucked over the system is and how I got steamrolled into this situation by X amount of individuals. It's like I took responsibility for my actions, but then, like, the system wants more than that from me. Well, I won't drag it on any further than that, but I just wanted to make a update video on, like, what's been going on with me and how I've been doing, and, like, what gives with me not uploading many videos or art recently. Like, I am uploading art, but like, I guess I'm more active on Twitter than I am YouTube, because YouTube, like, it takes some time, and, like, recently I just haven't had any time at all to produce some of the videos that I was doing, like the just another pretty face videos. Once things lighten up again, I think I'll see what I can do about getting back into that. Just like the fun exercises or just drawing whatever. But as of right now, like I just gotta catch up and But anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna go ahead and call this piece done. It's not like one of my greatest pieces, but I just wanted something visual to take up space as I talked about all the shit that I'm going through. All the shit. Let's see. I guess I'll sign it this way, which means I gotta turn it this way. Oh. Gotta have it at 100. J B L K horse. Oh, another thing I've been doing is I'm trying to get into writing. I want to write like scary stories and whatever, and then publish them in a book. But I guess before I sign off, let me give you a little taste of what that's like. So let me click over to this one story I'm working on, just trying to rewrite, and I'll just narrate it, and you guys can like just tell me what you think. Anyway, excuse me. Here we go. Story titled Something's Missing. Written and narrated by Johnston Blackhorse. I wake up startled in the middle of the night. It's dark and humid. My heaving breath spills out into the stillness. I try to remember what it was exactly that had jarred me from sleep. As is usually the case when I wake up too suddenly, details in memory become instantaneously fragmented and lost to the ethereal plane of dreamland, never to be recollected again. Unless if I were to fall asleep as suddenly as I had awoken. However, feeling as disturbed as I am now, I find myself not wanting to tread the murky depths of my subconscious anytime soon. I can't be sure if it was a disturbing dream or a sound that awoke me, but my head is still caught in the fog between dreams and waking life. I wipe the sweat from my brow and muffle my breathing in an attempt to calm my nerves. To further collect my thoughts, I take in my surroundings. My bedding feels askew, evidence that I've been tossing and turning in my sleep. The room is near pitch dark, save for the ambient light leaking in from the windows, which I keep open on muggy nights such as this. The moving air cools the sweat beating on my chest. With my senses heightened, the only sound I can hear is my quivering breath, accompanied by that faint, whispering buzz known as silence. A silence that at this very moment grows to an annoying, ceaseless whistle, a whistle seemingly able to muffle the advance of a would-be attacker. Though in reality, a slight shuffle of a footfall would seem like a resounding echo compared to the deafening silence filling my ears. I dry my sweaty palms by gripping the sheets in clenched fists, but I still have an overwhelming sense of urgency. I'm certain it was a dream that awoke me, but my immediate sense of fear is telling me otherwise. The darkness. It feels like it's hiding something from me. So strange that I often find comfort in the dark. However,
At this moment, my fear is a stark contrast to the comfort I felt earlier when I lay in bed for a well-deserved sleep. Perhaps I'd been working too hard, burning the candle at both ends to meet deadlines with nary a moment's rest, much less dedicated hours set aside for a full night's sleep. I have so many debts on top of monthly expenditures. It's been about 2 weeks with my nose to the grindstone at both my day job and freelance work on the side. I think of myself as someone who works well under pressure, but this time I may have bitten off more than I can chew. Tonight was supposed to be a celebration of sorts. I completed a large project at work and also reached a significant milestone in my freelance commission. A tidy sum of money was awaiting me in the form of a small bonus and commission payment for hours worked thus far. To celebrate, a full night's sleep was the reward I gave to myself, because I can be a real slave driver when it comes to my own work hours. I must have been so used to the daily stressors of work and deadlines that my brain probably conjured up a nightmare to disrupt the reprieve I was suddenly enjoying. Judging by the fear I still felt, it must have been a doozy. I'm familiar with nightmares, but it's rare for a dream to shake me awake like this. Even rarer still for a nightmare to give me such a lingering sense of unease. Thinking about it, this might be the closest dream I've had that resembles the night terrors I've heard about from a friend of a friend or late night reading on a paranormal message board. I sit up in bed, taking on a contemplative pose, legs crossed, left elbow perched on my thigh as my forehead rests in my left palm, while my other hand lays knuckles down on my right hip. To dispel this fear once and for all, I must think back and remember what it was that frightened me. Remember it and dissect it with the blade of reason. I slip into a meditative thought process, backtracking my emotional state in order to pinpoint my restful sleep's aggressor. Fragments of a dream begin to play back in my mind. The dream, I was in a place familiar and foreign all at the same time. As dreams are apt to do, my subconscious had cobbled together locations I am familiar with into a new hodgepodge location for my dream state reality. I remember seeing the glass doors of the office where I work. I opened the doors and stepped into the front lobby, seeing that it opened up into the main foyer of my childhood home. All around there were familiar faces, family, old friends, co-workers, and a blur of unimportant faces I've seen throughout my waking life. This isn't what had disturbed me, so I continued to push my memory along the vague path it had carved. I continued walking toward a landing of stairs and proceeded to ascend them. The stairs were reminiscent of a dorm stairwell from the college I had attended for design work. As I continued to climb the stairs, the steps morphed into a ramp, which became steeper as I pressed on. Soon, the ramp was a slide, and dream logic informed me that I had mistakenly chosen the downward slide the college students used to descend from the upper floors. Figuring I had passed the point of no return, I used the banister to shimmy my way up as college students began sliding down one after the other, hindering my progress. Eventually, I made it to the landing of my intended floor. I climbed to my feet and looked before to see I was greeted by some shiny elevator door. I pressed a button on the wall, and the door opened up to a hallway of a hotel I stayed in when I was on a business trip to showcase designs to some potential work clients. I looked back, and the slide stairwell was now an elevator shaft. Screams echoed through the hall as the students who were sliding down to get to their classes were now falling from several stories to the ground floor. Undeterred, I continued down the hotel hallway. And that's all I'm going to read for now. I'm still in the process of rewriting it. But yeah, this is like one of those other projects that I've been working on. And this one, I just got a bunch of short stories that need to be rewritten. And I think I'll be posting them here and there. And I'm even starting, I'm even thinking about starting up a Reddit account just to see how well these stories do. And these stories will be accompanied with illustrations, and when I have all of them rewritten and set to go, I'm going to send them to publishers and see what I can do about publishing these books and gaining some revenue from that, But bit by bit, late into the night, I want to start working on these stories again. But down in the comments, let me know what you think. Also in the descriptions, I'll have links to my my Twitter, excuse me. I feel like I need to burp, but it won't come out. It's like stuck in my throat. But anyway, I'll have links to my Twitter, my blog, and my coffee page in the description section below. So leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I've just been going through a lot, but tell me. I'd really like to get your honest opinion on how my writing is going, because that's something that I don't have much confidence in. But if you can tell me how I'm doing, and maybe if it's good, tell me if it's good. But if it's bad, I'll do what I can to rewrite some of the parts. But personally, I feel pretty happy with how it's going. But I would just like to get some more input. But anyway, that's it for now. I think I've been recording for nearly an hour now. How long has it been? 57 minutes. So I'll cut it off here. I'll do what I can to try to post more content. Follow me on Twitter. Be sure to do that, because that's where I'm most active. And leave a like, subscribe, and I shall chat with you all later. Bye.